you have skinny forearms and small wrists, you have probably been told that your genetics are a permanent curse. Stop believing that lie. Having tiny forearms is almost never a structural bone problem or a dead end of muscle insertions. It is a visual and biomechanical illusion caused by a massive, underdeveloped muscle belly that 90% of lifters completely ignore. Here is the exact science behind the brachioradialis gap, why your traditional wrist curls are doing absolutely nothing for arm thickness, and a 3-step science-based protocol to force massive growth in your forearms over the next 12 weeks. The genetic myth and the wrist bone illusion. Look at your arms in the mirror right now. If your lower arms look thin and noodle-like compared to your upper arms, your immediate instinct is to blame your wrist bone circumference. Most lifters look at their distal joints, see small skeletal frames, and assume that generating thick, powerful forearms is biologically impossible. But here is the objective anatomical truth. Your bone thickness at the wrist joint has almost zero impact on the visual size and mass of your upper forearm. When people judge arm thickness, their eyes are drawn to the proximal belly, the upper half of the lower arm that bridges directly into the bicep. When this area is flat, it creates an embarrassing visual gap that makes your entire arm look fragile, regardless of how much you bench press or curl. You are not genetically cursed with skinny arms. You are trapped in an anatomical illusion because your central nervous system has never been forced to maximally recruit the largest, highest potential muscle in your lower arm. The brachioradialis anatomy and biomechanical leverage. To shatter this illusion, we have to look deep into the anatomy of the anterior and lateral forearm. The absolute king of forearm mass is the brachioradialis. This muscle originates way up on the lateral supracondylar ridge of your humerus, meaning it starts above your elbow joint, and inserts all the way down at the styloid process of your radius. It is essentially a thick structural bridge connecting your upper arm to your lower arm. Here is the biomechanical mistake keeping you small. The brachioradialis is not a wrist flexor. When you spend 20 minutes at the end of your workout doing endless reps of light, high-rep wrist curls with a barbell, the brachioradialis receives zero mechanical tension. Zero. Furthermore, when you perform standard biceps curls with a fully supinated grip, palms facing up, your biceps brachii has overwhelming mechanical leverage, leaving the brachioradialis completely dormant. To wake up this sleeping giant and build thick, three-dimensional mass, you must manipulate your hand position to shift the leverage away from the bicep and directly onto the lateral forearm fibers. The neutral grip mechanical overload. You cannot build big forearms with pump sets and 10-pound dumbbell. The brachioradialis is a fast twitch dominant, high threshold muscle that responds almost exclusively to heavy mechanical tension and structural overload. Step 1 of this protocol is the neutral grip mechanical overload. For the next 8 to 12 weeks, you must make heavy cross-body hammer curls and reverse grip EZ bar curls the primary anchor of your arm training. Here's the precise biomechanical execution. When you hold a dumbbell in a neutral, semi-pronated hammer grip, palms facing each other, the biceps brachii is placed at a mechanical disadvantage. Its ability to flex the elbow is significantly compromised. At this exact angle, the brachioradialis is forced to step in as the primary elbow flexor. To execute the cross-body hammer curl correctly, do not curl the weight straight out in front of you. Instead, pull the dumbbell across your torso toward your opposite pectoral muscle. This slight internal rotation aligns the resistance perfectly with the diagonal fiber direction of the brachioradialis, triggering maximal motor unit recruitment from the initial stretch all the way to the peak contraction. Eliminating bicep takeover and wrist positioning. Step 2 is eliminating bicep takeover through precision wrist positioning. Even when performing hammer curls or reverse curls, 90% of lifters subconsciously cheat by allowing their wrist to flex upward as they lift the weight. The exact millisecond your wrist curls inward during an elbow flexion movement, your superficial wrist flexors and your anterior deltoid activate to steal the load, instantly short-circuiting tension away from the target forearm belly. To fix this, you must apply the extended wrist lock technique. Before you initiate the concentric pull on a reverse curl or hammer curl, actively extend your wrist backward just a few degrees, locking your hand into a neutral or slightly cocked back position. Keep your wrist completely rigid in this alignment throughout the entire set. By neutralizing wrist flexion, you eliminate secondary momentum and force the brachioradialis to absorb 100% of the eccentric and concentric stress. Treat the lowering phase with extreme disrespect. Take a full 3 seconds to lower the weight on every single repetition. That slow, controlled eccentric stretch under a rigid wrist position creates the exact micro trauma required to force explosive structural hypertrophy. Rotational pronation and isometric priming. Step 3 targets the deeper stabilizer muscles that push the brachioradialis outward to create a wider, denser profile, specifically the pronator teres and the supinator. A thick form is not just built through simple flexion, it requires rotational resistance under load. Twice a week, at the end of your upper body sessions, implement rotational lever pronation. Take an adjustable dumbbell with weight loaded onto only one side, or grab a heavy club bell or hammer. Grip the empty end of the handle, rest your forearm flat on a bench with your hand hanging off the edge, and slowly rotate your wrist from a palm up position to a palm down position against the gravity of the weighted lever. Combine this rotational work with timed isometric overload holds. Pick up a pair of dumbbells that are 30% heavier than what you normally shrug. Wrap a fat grip adapter around the handles to artificially increase the bar diameter and hold them at your sides for 60 seconds of absolute static tension. This brutal combination of rotational torque and crushing isometric clamping thickens the underlying fascia and expands the overall visual width of your lower arm frame. Transforming thin, genetically underdeveloped forearms is not an overnight process, but it is an absolute biological certainty if you respect the laws of mechanical leverage. During the first 2 to 3 weeks of this 3-step protocol, the changes will be primarily neurological. Your central nervous system will build new, high-speed neural pathways to those dormant lateral fibers, and you will experience deep, bone-crushing pumps in an area of your arm that has never felt fatigue before. Do not let your ego push you back to mindless, lightweight wrist curls. Stay disciplined with heavy neutral grips, enforce the rigid extended wrist lock on every rep, and challenge your rotational stabilizers consistently. Between week 8 and week 12, that visual gap between your bicep and your wrist will rapidly close. The brachioradialis will expand outward, pushing the skin tight and giving your entire arm a thick, armored, 3-dimensional look from every possible angle. Stop hiding behind the excuse of genetics. Take ownership of your training biomechanics and go build the physique you deserve. See you in the next breakdown.